Well, we are back again with another episode of Chasing Labels. Was that too sinister? Was that too sinister?
No, you sounded like a great James Bond villain.
Oh,
that was what you were going for.
What should my James Bond villain name be?
I don't know. All the good ones seem to be taken.
How about Jimmy Crack Corn? I'll take that one. And I just always have a piece of corn and I crack it in my hands before I'm I could intimidate my,
Or you could have various corn-themed food that you're constantly snacking on.
Oh, yes. I have some Frito corn chips. I'm and that's my advertising, as I'm doing.
Yeah, and you hold it up to the camera like in Wayne's World.
Yeah. I have a headache. Take 2 of these. All right, well, we're going way off track here. We are back on another episode of Chasing Labels, spine number 8. I'm Stephen Billings, and with me, as always, is Andrew Cabral. What's up, man?
What's up? I'm doing good. We are still in the single digits, still in that super primo collector's items, low numbers. I
can't wait till we get to double digits.
I know.
It's so close. But it's been a slow week. We don't have as much as I'm not sweating as much for this episode, but there's some interesting titles, some interesting things to talk about as usual. And where do we want to begin, Andrew?
Well, we will begin with our old dear friends, our friends who are always reliable. They never let us down.
They're always there.
Slow weeks.
Yeah.
And that is Kino Lorber, specifically Kino Lorber Studio Classics, which is a mouthful to say, so that's why I keep saying Kino Lorber. But we're going to start where we left off from last time. Really, the next day, they were already announcing stuff after our previous episode recording. And these will be their September titles, I believe.
Okay.
And first up here is a film starring Jodan Baker and Jim Kelly called Golden Needles. And this has 1970s screaming all over it.
Yes.
And it is from 1974.
Yes, and it's like a karate picture.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you know Jim Kelly, he was in Bruce Lee's Enter the Dragon.
Yes.
And yeah, he was in a lot of kung fu movies around that time. And Jodan Baker, what's your affiliation with Jodan Baker? Do you have any? No,
not really. No. No, I mean, I know the name, and I know I've seen some of his films, but I don't have much to say about him.
Well, Jodan Baker was in a James Bond film. He was in GoldenEye.
Oh, you were trying. I see where you're going with that. Yeah, damn. How did I miss it?
So, I mean, he was in that, but he's also in a movie called Mitchell, which was spoofed by Mystery Science Theater 3000. And it's a significant episode for them because it was the last episode of their original host, Joel Hodgson, that he was in. But Mitchell is a crazy movie with Jodan Baker. It may have actually been from the 70s. I don't even remember. Anywho, he's like a Southern Texas Ranger who has to go to some European country to extradite to find some criminal or something. It's ridiculous. He refuses not to wear his cowboy hat. But this movie here is, like I said, came out in 1974. It's getting a brand new 2K master, new audio commentary with film historians Howard S. Berger and Chris Poggiali, newly commissioned art by Vince Evans, radio spots, TV spot, image gallery, theatrical trailer, reversible art, limited edition slipcase. So they're really using that a lot more, and these are limited.
Yeah.
These are super limited. And then there's optional English subtitles. And the reason why I emphasize super limited is because I've been trying to get their 4K UHD edition of The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, which just came out. And to get it with the slipcover is near damn impossible because those sold out so damn quick. I think they're limited to the first 2,000 copies.
Maybe.
Which is pretty small.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this is actually from the same director of Enter the Dragon.
Yeah.
Now that I'm reading it.
Yeah, and it's this is a fantastic. I mean, look, I don't know if this is a good movie, but I can tell you that the synopsis kind of gets me in. Okay, so all these factions are karate factions are all going after this statue, and you're like, why do they want the statue so much? Apparently, it's not the statue itself, but the needles, the golden needles that are inside the statue that apparently, if placed in the right parts of your body, turns you into a sex machine, basically. You're the best sex guy.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing. But if you put it in the wrong places, it can kill you. So
Well, that's the risk you take.
That's the risk you
that's
take
really the risk
if you want to be like, you know.
Yeah, if you want to be a sex god,
in the
yeah,
bed.
I mean,
yeah.
you really gotta.
So these are a bunch of insecure dudes that are like really need help by stealing these needles. So
I guess this is definitely the pre-Viagra, pre-Cialis days.
Yes,
because I think that stuff's only come around like the last like two decades or so.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Or however.
What was that movie with Jake Gyllenhaal?
Oh man,
where they create.
I'm not gonna look it up.
Yeah,
I have it too.
Yeah.
With Jake Gyllenhaal, Anne Hathaway.
Yeah. It's directed by and it's directed. God, I'm gonna do this. We're doing this on the podcast.
Do it.
Damn it. It's like a journeyman type of director. He's looking it up.
You know, I'm gonna look it up because I can't help myself.
God damn it.
Oh man,
help us out
Jake
there.
Jake Gyllenhaal has so much.
I'm sorry, guys. This has got to happen. You know how it is when you're like, you can't think of something and you got to know right now.
Yeah, Love and Other Drugs.
Love and Other Drugs, thank God. And it's done by who?
Edward Zwick.
Okay, that is the guy. Yes. For some reason, Werner Herzog was in my head, and it was like, I know that's not right.
I'm trying to remember if I have this movie.
I have this movie. I should have known this.
I think I have it, but I don't know if it's in my Edward Zwick section because I didn't know it was Edward Zwick.
We went from
gold
needles.
It's not because I'm looking at it on my shelf. It's in the wrong place.
Wow.
What have I done?
What have you done? We are going way off tangent here.
Yeah, I know.
We went from talking about the movie Golden Needles to Viagra to the movie.
Well,
Love and
it connected. It connected.
I guess when it comes to sexual prowess, I guess, yeah.
Yes.
But I think Golden Needles sounds like it could be fun. So,
I do dig the cover too.
Yeah.
I do really like the cover, and it's a reversible cover too. And the reversible cover, I'm guessing, looks like the original poster.
Yeah.
Because that looks very old school. It's a golden statue with pictures of all the actors, like around it, for anyone listening.
That look like the stills that they gave the people when they
they're like black and white headshots.
Yeah.
They're not great.
But
next movie, which is coming out September 14th, is a film from 1966. So we're going back in time. It's a movie called Rafifi in Paris, or also known as The Upper Hand. And this only has a new audio commentary by filmmaker / historian Daniel Kremer and cinematographer Aaron Hollander, and then trailers. Yeah, nothing much.
Not familiar
but it
with
looks
one.
it looks good. Like, I really want to watch it.
It's got a cool. I like the artwork. I like the image we got here on the front of the guy, kind of with the Eiffel Tower. Older gentleman. He has a gun in his hand. And he's got a dog. He's like, look, if I don't kill you with this gun, this dog will.
I guess. And the movie stars Gene Gabin and George Raft. Now, is it the George Raft?
You're asking the wrong guy.
Or is it somebody else?
The George Raft? Like he's like my neighbor? Is that
I guess. George Raft? I mean, the George Raft who was in Some Like It Hot. He was in They Drive By Night, the original Scarface.
You have better memory than me. So.
Yeah, it actually is him.
Okay, cool.
He's playing a character called Charles Benaggio. What a name! What a name!
Better than George Raft.
But he's a classic actor who was in everything.
Okay.
back in the golden days of Hollywood. And Gene Gabin, his name sounds familiar to me. Oh, you know why? He was in The Grand Illusion. He was in Port of Shadows. That makes a lot of sense.
Bam.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay. But yeah, this movie looks like kind of a neo-noir. It is 1966. It has to deal with, the character of Gene Gabin is described as a grizzled gold smuggler, which is really a lot of alliteration there. And he's at war with other local gangsters who want a piece of the action. So we're talking all kind of underworld type stuff.
All right.
I'm digging it, like mafia type stuff.
Maybe John Wick mixed with Taken.
Perhaps I don't know.
I'm just making up shit.
But I want to see it. I'm very curious about it.
All right.
But next up on the docket is it's a future announcement, a real future announcement, because it's pretty vague. And apparently they're going to be putting out 3 movie collections from the classic comedic actor W.C. Fields. And one is going to come out this fall, just as coming this fall. It doesn't say when. And there's another one coming in 2022. So I guess they're going to be releasing movies next year. Good to know.
Huh.
Good to know.
I didn't think that was going to change. Yeah,
well, you never know.
I never had any doubt. Yeah.
Companies go under all the time, I guess. But the first collection is going to be 3 movies: The Old-Fashioned Way from 1934, It's a Gift from 1934, and The Bank Dick from 1940, which I think is probably his most popular movie. And for those of you who don't know who W.C. Fields is, you may or may not have heard the name. He's like a classic comedic actor from the 20s and 30s and a little bit into the 40s. He passed away in 1946 at the age
he was there all through that silent age.
Yeah, he started really early on. Like I think his first movie may have been like 1915.
Yeah.
W.C. Fields, he started in vaudeville. He started as a juggler, like as a kid, basically doing like juggling. Apparently, he was really a super famous juggler, and
he likes to juggle.
Vaudeville stuff. and then he moved on to Broadway, then moved into movies with the silent era in the teens and the 20s, and then the talkies in the 30s and into the 40s. But yeah, he's super super well known for a lot of old classic fans. There's been DVD collections for years.
Okay.
With his movies in them. I saw them at stores, for years now. But I'm glad that his stuff is getting some HD Blu-ray releases because these movies are significantly older and they probably could use restorations. I'm excited
because I'm not really much. I've heard the name, but I hadn't seen anything from him. So
yeah, and I've seen a couple of shorts. I've seen The Bank Dick, and it's an acquired type of comedy. It's not like I don't think it's quite a laugh out loud stuff. Maybe like a Charlie Chaplin or like the Marx Brothers or Laurel and Hardy. Yeah. It's really different, but I think it's enjoyable.
Okay.
I think it's enjoyable depending on your comedy tastes. But the second set, which is coming out in 2022, is You're Telling Me from 1934, Man on the Flying Trapeze from 1935, You Can't Cheat an Honest Man from 1939. And what is interesting is when I was doing my research, he mostly made pictures at Paramount, and then towards the end of his career, he moved over to Universal because apparently he was really, really well known to be a raging alcoholic. All right, apparently that was like part of his not only like persona on screen, but also like his persona in real life was that he consumed lots and lots of alcohol, which, I think eventually led to a lot of medical problems and illnesses and led to his career like dipping and then, going up and down. And then obviously his death eventually. But yeah, so there's a lot of stuff to go through when it comes to W.C. Fields. He had a long career. Born in 1880, died in 1946.
Yeah, so basically he died doing what he loved, I guess.
Yeah, he was still doing stuff, and he would also do like radio plays and radio type stuff. That was what he was known for as well, because he had a very distinct voice. And for those of you who've seen his work, you know what I'm talking about. A very droll type, like droll type voice. It's unique. It's unique. I don't even want to imitate it.
Oh, come on, Andrew.
I watched it last night. It's like, it's like half laid back, half pompous.
You stupid mother.
No, it's like, Steven. It's like, Steven, you're looking good today. You know what I mean? Like it's like an old fashioned type of thing.
I don't know.
Like it's almost like Edward G. Robinson, like Little Caesar, but not quite as hammy.
Okay.
It's more realistic.
Okay.
But moving on, because we could talk about W.C.
Done with
Fields
impression
forever.
hour.
I know. Moving on to something that I've actually seen, and this is the movie called City of Violence or Città Violenta. And the movie stars Charles Bronson, Telly Savalas, and Jill Ireland.
They've been putting out a lot of Charles Bronson lately.
A lot of Bronson.
And you're happy because you can add this to the collection.
Dude, yeah. What's crazy is I have a serious lack of Charles Bronson in my collection, even though I'm a big fan of his.
Yeah.
So
and you know what? They're giving it a 4K restoration. So.
Yes. So there's plenty out there if you want it. This movie is interesting. So basically, Charles Bronson is an assassin or a hitman, and he gets screwed over uh, by actually his girlfriend in the film, and basically it's him getting revenge on all the people he screwed over. So I mean, how many times have we seen that plot?
Revenge movies.
Yeah, how many times have we seen that? And Telly Savalas he's not quite involved, but he plays like a big heavy bad guy in the movie. I just love Telly Savalas, and it's good, but this movie was made, I believe, in Italy.
Okay.
Because I don't, when I was watching this movie, it has the oddest and most unique audio composition I've ever seen.
Okay.
In this sense that it's partly in English and partly in Italian. And what I mean by partly in Italian, I mean like sometimes in mid-conversation, in mid-sentence, the audio will switch from someone speaking in English to someone speaking in Italian. And it's like the overdubbed Italian because like Charles Bronson doesn't speak Italian.
Yeah.
So it's, it's somebody dubbing Italian over him. And there's like stretches of the movie where like they'll just go speaking Italian from like scene to scene and then switch back to English. The same characters talking to each other in English and then talking to each other in Italian. It was odd. I had to check my audio on. I'm like, is this supposed to be?
Is it switching between different audio tracks?
Did I switch something?
Yeah.
Did I press a button? Because I rented it from Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
So I was like, is there another audio? No, English was the only audio option.
I wonder if they'll address that in the.
I have no idea. There's no details when it comes to special features yet. There's no release date. It just says coming soon. Brand new 4K restoration.
I'm saying that Ennio Morricone did the score for this.
Oh,
that's
nice.
pretty cool. Yeah.
It's also co-written by Lena Wertmuller, which is really interesting. And yeah, I dug it. It's cool. But it's an odd movie.
Okay.
And it's a little long too. I think the movie's like an hour and 50 minutes, and it kind of felt it.
Okay.
But moving on from Charles Bronson to another film here. This movie's from 1965. It's called Masquerade, and it has a brand new 2K master, new audio commentary by film historian Howard S. Berger and Chris Paggiali. I wonder if I pronounced that right.
That sounds pretty damn good.
Theatrical trailer and then optional English subtitles. Yeah. This is done by Basil Dearden.
Okay.
And Criterion fans are probably going to know who Basil Dearden is because I'm pretty sure there's an Eclipse set in the Criterion collection about Basil Dearden because I think I've seen a couple of the movies in there. But I'm just going to, I just want to check on that. Yeah, Eclipse set number 25, Basil Dearden's London Underground of the movies Sapphire, The League of Gentlemen, Victim, and then All Night Long.
Okay.
So that's interesting.
And you get a lot. Now you've probably seen a lot of these movies through the Criterion channel, right?
Probably yes,
Yeah.
or even when they were on Filmstruck.
Okay.
I'm not quite sure if these are actually available on the Criterion channel or not.
Yeah, well,
I'm pretty sure they all are. Now that I'm looking at it,
I mean, people will have to go look.
I'm trying to see if any other Basil Dearden. Nope, it's just that Eclipse set. There's no other movies in the Criterion collection. But this is actually something I wanted to watch for the show, and I just couldn't find it anywhere to even stream.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to see it. Because it looks and sounds very interesting.
Cool.
Okay, moving on from Basil Dearden, we're moving on to a much larger release here, and this is a movie called Arabesque. At least I think that's how it's pronounced. And this is also a movie from 1966. This is coming out September 14th, and I really want this movie. Now, this movie is directed by Stanley Donen.
Yeah.
Starring Gregory Peck and Sophia Loren. This movie is it's a pretty great kind of 60s spy thriller, like international spy thriller movie.
It seems kind of like it might have a little bit of that, like To Catch a Thief type of feel to it.
It's like, it feels, I would even compare it more to Charade.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's directed by Stanley, yeah.
Yeah, I think they're both directed by Stanley Donen.
Yeah,
both in the 60s.
He did Singing in the Rain also, if you didn't, yeah.
And they're both starring, like, both Charade and this movie star, like, iconic actors and actresses.
Yeah, Cary Grant, and then,
Cary Grant and Audrey Hepburn. This movie is Gregory Peck and Sophia Loren. And this movie is getting a new audio commentary by film historians Howard S. Berger, Steve Mitchell, and Nathaniel Thompson. Music by Mancini, because this has the scores done by Henry Mancini. And this is an archival featurette with Henry Mancini and nationally syndicated columnist Leonard Feather. Theatrical trailer restored in 2K at 235:1. Theatrical teaser restored in 2K at 185:1. Television trailer restored in 2K. 5 TV spots, all restored in 2K. I've never seen anyone like do that before, restore the trailers. But then there's a poster gallery, reversible art, and limited edition slipcover, which they do say 2,500. 2,500.
Oh, that's
so
nice.
some
That's
of the
nice
first
of them to
2,500.
give us a number.
Yeah, sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. So who the heck knows? But yeah, this is a nice, like, kind of thriller mystery, like international caper, James Bond-esque type. Not quite, because Gregory Peck is like, I think he's a professor, and he's a professor of like languages or like archaeology or something like that, and he has to like decipher some hieroglyphics. And Sophia Loren is like the girlfriend or wife of this bad guy, so she's playing like two sides to the one, so you don't know if she's good or if she's bad.
Yeah.
She's gorgeously stunning throughout the movie. She's given the most like luxurious and extravagant costumes to wear throughout the entire movie. Like every single scene, she's wearing a new, just fantastic outfit. It's really, really entertaining. And the movie's not bad. It's an okay script, but I'd always heard of this movie, but I had never watched it until now.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like it could be fun. And if you saying it's like charade, then maybe it's worth checking out. So,
right.
So
next on the docket is a movie. I think it's a French film. It's called The French Conspiracy, also known as.
Wait a second. There's the French Connection, and it's not a French film.
I guess that's true. But the only reason why I say it may be a French film is because the alternate title is L'Attentat, which is in French, / the assassin / plot. Yeah. This movie has like 4 titles to it.
It's kind of it's kind of like the Edge of Tomorrow of its time.
Oh, Live, Die, Repeat.
Yeah.
What a terrible title.
Yeah.
And then, so this movie came out in 1972. This is getting a brand new 4K restoration from the original camera negative. It includes both the original 123-minute French and the 93-minute English dub cuts. Wow, that's a significant cut. That's like, what is that, like a half hour?
That's, yeah. No, I mean, that's roughly, yeah. Actually, exactly a half an hour.
Yeah, I know nothing about this movie. Nothing at all.
No, nope.
But it must be significant enough for it to get a 4K restoration. And this is a Code Red and Kino Lorber team-up release.
Yes, they've been doing a lot of them.
They have. So I guess we'll just move on to the next one.
Okay.
Which, interesting. There we go. This is a movie called Skullduggery. Came out in 1970. This stars Burt Reynolds.
Yeah.
Got to be an early film from Burt Reynolds, yeah. And this
looks interesting.
It looks weird, man.
I mean, I know it's like people like discovering like I guess another form of early man, like an early form of man, kind of like finding Bigfoot, basically.
Yeah, apparently he goes. Yeah, apparently he goes to like it's in New Guinea. Jungle in Papua New Guinea.
Yeah,
and apparently he finds the missing link, and I guess the evolutionary chain. He finds the missing link, or supposedly the missing link, and yeah, it looks weird.
I'm hearing it's a little more thoughtful than maybe people
what we're giving it
expect
credit for?
From this movie just by looking at the cover.
Got it.
It is like somewhat of an action adventure, but they said it's a little bit more thoughtful than you'd think, and don't go in expecting it to be action packed. So.
I don't really like the title. I don't know. I'm not a fan of that title. It makes it sound like a B movie. It sounds like a B movie.
Yeah.
Like Trog with Joan Crawford. It sounds which came out around the same time, I think. But this is getting a brand new 2K master. A new audio commentary by film historians Howard S. Burgers, C. Courtney Joyner, and Sergio Mims. Theatrical trailer, optional English subtitles, and yeah, that's it. Coming out September 21st.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll be buying that one.
I've got other Burt Reynolds stuff I still want to get from Kino, and just from other companies. Like I still need to get White Lightning. Yeah. Still want to get Gator, Hooper.
You're gonna get that.
A lot of his other '70s work.
You're gonna get the 4K of Smokey and the Bandit.
I really want it, to be honest with you. I think that movie is hilarious, unabashedly. It's almost like, I don't know if I'm looking at it through a modern day lens and kind of viewing it almost as if it's a spoof movie.
Yeah.
Because it's just so wildly over the top. But I've always really loved that movie. I think it's hilarious.
I think I like Burt Reynolds more as a personality than his acting, personally. I mean,
okay.
I think about the SNL skits, the Jeopardy stuff, and where they're making fun of Burt Reynolds, and he's like always chewing gum.
Oh yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I like his on-screen presence. He had this really coolness about him, especially in the Smokey and the Bandit movies, where he was, super cool with the fast car and just
he's definitely got presence. He's
the rebel.
Yeah, definitely got presence. I'd never really gotten into Burt Reynolds, so
he's a different acquired taste because like I said, it's not about. He almost has that Steve McQueen factor to him.
Yeah, I was gonna say Steve McQueen or what's his name, Mustache, that almost played
Tom Selleck?
Tom Selleck, like a Tom Selleck. Like they're like very masculine men that play to the women. Like they, they probably the women audiences were like, big for them,
Yeah, Burt Reynolds had that. Yeah, Burt Reynolds had that famous that Playgirl cover with that Playgirl spread. Yeah, I was really sad to see him pass away a few years ago. I actually saw the last movie that he was in.
Yeah, I never got a chance to see that.
It was like a super low budget. The movie was so meta because the movie was literally about about people idolizing an actor.
He was like an actor that was supposed to be going to get like a Lifetime Achievement Award or something, right?
Yeah, and like the Lifetime Achievement Award banquet was in like a bar or some type of like club with just like a bunch of like diehard fans were hanging out. You know what I mean? It wasn't like a banquet hall in like New York or anything. Yeah. And it was just really, really I
guess him dealing with his fame or whatever fame he had, like
it wasn't quite his last movie now that I'm looking at it, but it's called The Last Movie Star.
Okay.
And it was a movie directed by Adam Rifkin, and I thought it was really, really well done meta. They would use like archive footage of the real Burt Reynolds to prop up the fictionalized version in this movie. Really good contemplative film. But moving on from that, we have a movie called Macho Callahan. And this looks like a Western from 1970.
Yeah.
And this is getting a brand new 4K restoration from the original camera negative. New audio commentary by filmmaker Alex Cox. Very, very cool.
He seems to show up everywhere.
He seems to show up in extra features.
Yeah, features for a lot of different companies. Yeah.
And not can you just make movies again?
Is he gonna make a movie again, or is he? I guess he can do what he wants.
That's true. And then there's a theatrical trailer, optional English subtitles, and this is another movie that I had no idea about, and even tried to look this movie up to watch it for the show was near damn impossible.
Yeah, because
it was just not available anywhere, and which is a shame because I'm noticing that a lot more when we're doing these releases, is that a lot of these movies aren't available to stream. Yeah. And I'm not getting into the whole streaming versus physical media war. I'm just saying there's a limit.
This is why it's important.
Yeah.
But there is something to say about people are spending their hard-earned money, and it'd be nice to be able to watch the movie before deciding to buy it.
That's true. I mean, we do it because we want to talk about these movies here for the show.
Sure.
But a lot of these we're going to end up buying ourselves,
or at least give people options to rent something. But yeah. I mean, this does have Lee J. Cobb in. I mean, so
yes,
He's always
Yes, it does.
He's probably got
See,
some good yelling scenes in the
Oh,
movie.
he never met it. He's never. What do I say? He's never met a role he's never wanted to yell in.
Yeah,
or he's never yelled in.
he's got to be.
I love that, man.
What if this ends up being the one he's like the most quiet in?
Super quiet in it.
Yeah, I maybe it's worth watching just for that.
I don't know. He's called. The way they describe his character is very interesting. Yeah, apparently, Macho Callahan is trying to kill Lee J. Cobb, and Lee J. Cobb is called the Man in the Yellow Boots. What a name!
Okay, that's an interesting choice of color for your boots.
I also like how they credit him, like when they give the credits here, they just have 12 Angry Men, as if he wasn't in like
he
a
didn't do like
other
tons
movies.
of other movies. Yeah,
yeah, as if he wasn't in On the Waterfront.
Yeah.
Oh man. Moving on
Yes.
to go. Now we're going way back in time. We're getting out of the 60s. We're getting out of the 70s. We're going back to 1934.
Doc, we gotta go back in time.
We gotta go back.
Even further.
And this is a movie called Now and Forever, starring Gary Cooper, Carol Lombard, Shirley Temple, directed by Henry Hathaway.
Ah, yes.
Who did they really give a lot of movies
Grit.
here. None of
he
them
did
I've
True
seen.
Grit. Yeah.
Yes, he did. And he did a lot of like westerns, right when westerns were starting to die out. Actually,
Yeah.
he did a lot of those.
Did he do a few with John Wayne? Was it?
Yeah, towards the end of John Wayne's career.
Yeah.
Like he did, like we said, True Grit. He did part of the West. The West was one.
Yeah.
He was one of the directors in there. He also did the Sons of Katie Elder, which I think just got a Blu-ray release from somebody somewhere.
Okay.
I think it may have been Paramount straight up, because they're kind of randomly releasing their back catalog title. But anywho, so this is an earlier release from Henry Hathaway, whose career spanned literally from the 1930s all the way to the 1970s. That's a hell of a career. And this movie, there's not much when it comes to details on it. It just says brand new 2K master and just says coming soon. Doesn't even say when. I'm down. You know me when it comes to 1930s movies.
I mean, Carol Lombard. I mean, she's been getting a lot of, a lot of her films. I mean, I think last episode or maybe the episode before we had like 3 Carol Lombard movies or something like that. We've been getting a lot of her lately.
Yeah, we've got those two box sets from Kino, coincidentally.
Yeah.
Carol Lombard Collection 1 and 2, and now we're getting this one here. So a lot of Carol Lombard love, which is great. You know, she had a very limited, we talked about it a little bit before, she had a limited career because, she sadly passed away in, I believe, a plane crash. So, there is a finite amount of her movies that can be released. I'm just, no, actually, I had quite a few. She had 78 credits on IMDb, so that's quite a lot.
Yeah.
That's quite a lot. Because she did start in the early 20s all the way up until her death in 1942, I believe. Yeah, I'm down. Gary, I know Gary Cooper, sold on Carol Lombard. Also, I don't really have a lot of Shirley Temple in my collection, at least not early Shirley Temple. I have a few of her later roles that she did when she was a teenager before she quit acting. So this would be kind of cool.
I don't know, the poster's freaking me out. It's like just some floating heads.
It is floating heads. It is floating heads. And I do like the color scheme, though. That kind of off, what's that, like
a tan and a brown.
Yeah, I was going to say off yellow and brown. Like a lot of yellows, browns, and reds here. Almost like a two-strip Technicolor, which I don't know if it is. I don't know if it's black or white either. I think it's black and white.
I would assume in 1934 it's probably black and white.
But moving on to the most recent update as of 8 hours ago, as of this recording, this is a double feature that they're doing, which is kind of cool because I don't know if they've done a lot of Blu-ray double features. Kino has
it's not a regular thing.
No. This is a Kino Lorber Studio Classic double feature starring Sammy Davis Jr. and Peter Lawford. First up is a movie from 1968 called Salt and Pepper, directed by Richard Donner, of all people.
Yeah.
And we all know who Richard Donner is. Directed Superman, The Old Man, Lethal Weapon.
Tons of stuff.
And then the second movie is from 1970 called One More Time, directed by Jerry Lewis. And people can say what they want to say about that. So yeah, this is a double feature. No details on it whatsoever. No street date. No extra features. No nothing. All we get is kind of basic cover art of just kind of a split screen, one movie poster on the left, one movie poster on the right, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never heard of these movies. I mean, Sammy Davis Jr. is a character. He's kind of somebody that's kind of fun to watch, I think, always. But
yeah, I know who these people are.
Yeah. That's about it.
I just not see these
but
movies.
I do like Richard Donner, so I mean, might need to check out that first movie just to see how it is. So that's it for Kino.
Yep. So we will move on to Shout Factory now. It's a very limited Shout Factory release.
These Shout Factory releases.
Just a couple of Shout Selects. Yeah. Couple of Shout Selects, and the Shout Select line has there's been a lot of releases in it. I think they're well over like 100 releases, aren't they?
It's got to be by now.
Yeah, it's been a lot. I just picked up one the other day. I finally upgraded my DVD copy of Glengarry Glen Ross, which I've had for like a decade, to finally to their release. So that's really cool. So we're going to be talking about a collection here of 3 movies, a 3-movie collection, part of a series. It's Oh God, Book 2.
Yeah, the Oh God,
and then Oh God, You Devil. And it's called the Oh God Collection.
Yes.
I don't know if you could put that together.
Oh God.
Oh God.
But yeah, I mean, I've seen this first movie. I've seen the first Oh God. Basically, if you've seen the movie Bruce Almighty, it's kind of like that.
Cool.
Where in the first movie, it's John Denver. John Denver plays this kind of grocery store manager, and he's visited by God, and then he has to prove that he's God, because he doesn't believe in God, and then once he kind of convinces him, and then he wants him to kind of spread his word, and get people to convince people that God exists, and it's a fun movie. I really liked the first movie. I'm not much familiar with John Denver as an actor, but he plays kind of like a kind of straight man in this movie, like a straightforward kind of dude. He has a little bit of character with him and his wife. They kind of have some back and forth sexual chemistry going on in the movie, but like other than that, he's kind of a plain dude. But it's directed by Carl Reiner. Which you might know from he's acted in a lot of stuff too. But
Carl Reiner was just one of the best people.
Yeah.
Obviously the father of Rob Reiner,
yeah.
also actor, director, writer, etc., etc. Carl Reiner recently passed away. He was best friends with Mel Brooks. I followed Carl Reiner on Twitter for years, probably since when I first signed up on Twitter. I followed Carl Reiner. Seemed like a really nice, super awesome guy.
Yeah.
And yeah, I want to get more of his stuff in my collection. I know as soon as I hate doing that, Steven, when someone passes away, I all of a sudden realize, hey, I don't have their work. I got to get their work. And it's like, why didn't I buy it before? What an ass.
Yeah. Well, now
that happens to me
because
all the time.
Now your reason is like, well, everybody's going to buy all this stuff.
Yeah. There's usually a mad rush.
It happened to me with like when Debbie Reynolds died. I went and bought Singing in the Rain, that big collection they have of Singing in the Rain.
Yep.
Yeah, it went quick.
Yeah, a lot of her stuff hasn't even hit Blu-ray yet. I'm hoping we get more of her stuff. It happened to me when Robin Williams passed away.
Oh yeah,
people went bananas and bought everything that was him. I remember I knew I had a local FYE and I knew they had some Robin Williams stuff that no one had ever bought.
Yeah.
So I went there and I grabbed like Dead Poet Society and like Good Morning Vietnam and stuff like that. And I even bought like a copy of Jumanji because I just didn't have it. And now they're all now you can find them anywhere now.
Now you can go get
at the time
Jack.
They sold out.
Now you can go get the movie Jack.
If you want it,
I
think I
Brian
may have actually saw. I'm pretty sure I saw that movie in the theater.
Francis Ford Coppola did Jack, right?
Allegedly.
Yeah. Oh man, Jack. I watched that movie as a kid and liked it.
So did I.
Patch Adams too.
I either saw Jack in the theater, or I saw it renting it from like Blockbuster or somewhere.
I had that shit on VHS.
I think Patch Adams the same way.
Yeah, had that shit on VHS too.
Oh, nice.
Hell yeah.
But getting back to Oh God.
Yes.
There are some special features to go with these. The first film, which is which is really nice. Each movie's on its own disc. That's kind of important. Disc 1, it has an audio commentary by director Carl Reiner, screenwriter Larry Gelbart, actress Terry Garr, and producer Jerry Weintraub. A new audio commentary by film critic and theologian Dr. Donna Bowman. John Denver guest hosts The Johnny Carson Show, featuring interviews with Carl Reiner, George Burns, and Terry Garr, and a theatrical trailer. And then disc number 2 is Oh God, which is Oh God Book 2. Came out first movie came out in 1977, second in 1980.
And apparently, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but apparently the second movie is kind of like the first movie, but it's just a different character. I think it's like a female character that he finds and tries to talk to. And then the third movie is where the guy that plays the guide character also plays the devil character in that movie.
Oh, so, a lot of nuances.
I think
here.
It's George Burns is his name.
Okay.
Yeah, George Burns. Yeah.
So it's kind of remember Bruce Almighty got a sequel, Evan Almighty.
Yeah.
Where it was Steve Carell's character from the first movie becoming like Noah.
Yeah.
From Noah's Ark. Oh man. 2000s were a hell of a time.
Yep.
But there's a new audio commentary on disc 2 with Oh God Book 2 by film critic and theologian Dr. Donna Bowman. And then a new interview with assistant director Tom LaFaro, and theatrical trailer. And then disc 3, Oh God, You Devil. It almost seems like a joke, like sarcastic, like Oh God, you devil.
Yeah,
things like that. New audio commentary by film critic and theologian Dr. Donna Bowman. New interview with actor Ted Wass, and the Jack Benny program episode dated October 7, 1956, with guest starring George Burns as the devil.
Oh, that might be fun.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's interesting. You don't really see a lot of episodes of the Jack Benny program being extra features on things. But we do get a cool cover here. I'm assuming original art. And I'm assuming there's going to be reversible cover art because I think all of or most of the Shout Select releases have reversible cover art, at least some of the ones I have.
Yeah.
And I don't even know what number Shout Select is up to at this point, like I said earlier. But that's that. And the next one is a movie that I actually thought I talked about. Maybe I talked about.
I'm not sure.
I don't remember.
Might as well bring it up.
Might as well bring it up. Hey, now it's a movie called Havoc, and it stars Anne Hathaway, Bijou Phillips, and I remember buying this DVD when one of my local used DVD shops was going out of business, just because I wanted the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this was early Anne Hathaway, and I don't know how you feel about Anne Hathaway, Steven. Apparently, people don't like her for some reason or another.
I don't know if is that because she's a beautiful woman and people get upset that beautiful people. I've heard she might be difficult to work with, possibly.
Okay.
But I've always liked her.
I don't
as
know
an
her
actress.
personally.
I've always liked her.
Yeah, I've always liked her as an actress.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically this movie it's another one where I don't know what it is, Steven. It's about, young people getting into trouble trying to trying to figure out the world and the world being super harsh to them.
Yeah.
Because I believe the way the film goes is that Anne Hathaway's character, Bijou Phillips' character, they're basically like, it says here that they leave their affluent suburb for a joyride. They glimpse a frightening landscape of drugs, violence, and brutality. And so basically, like, kind of people being a fish out of water, going from like comfy life to the realities and the harshness of the world, which is kind of cool themes to me.
Yeah, it's kind of like that movie Swim Fan.
Ooh, wow,
remember that?
That's a reference.
That's a reference, right?
Oh, damn, that's a deep cut. It's not quite like that. Well, Swim Fan is basically the teenage version of, what's that movie starring Michael Douglas and,
Fatal Attraction.
Fatal Attraction.
Yeah.
That's Swim Fan. I tell you, I bring this up all the time. I always get Swim Fan. I always get Fatal Attraction and Basic Instinct confused. Yeah. It happens to me all the time.
But
this movie I remember seeing when I was much younger. It's a very graphic movie when it comes to sex and things like that, and it really struck a young Andrew very harshly.
Or what about like a Cruel Intentions or like a
Ooh,
or
okay,
would it be more like that?
yeah, like think of that, but a more harder R version.
Okay, all right.
Because there is nudity. There was nudity in Cruel Intentions, but this is like uncomfortable sex scenes in sexual situations
Okay.
that aren't erotic. They're not, you know, you know, titillating in any way. They're more like this is kind of messed up. Like this is real effed up. Stuff like that. So that's Havoc. And I'm kind of surprised it's getting a Blu-ray release from Shout Select, actually.
Well,
Or Shout
what?
Factory
They
in
put
general.
out Little Big League, so
Oh, of course, of course. I mean, the two are clearly.
so there's no
you know,
surprise anymore.
yeah. I mean, there's no. I mean, clearly they're one and the same.
Yeah, and they're putting out Hard Target, so
Of course.
they've won in.
Oh
my
no,
book.
that was Kino.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. You know what? You're right. Sorry.
Yeah, that was
Shout
Kino.
didn't put out that. They
They
did
had
put
a
out Little
chance.
Big League though.
They had a chance. Moving on now to good old friends, our bread and butter.
I mean, I don't
The
like butter.
Criterion Collection.
I like. How about jelly?
Oh, I just think of like I don't know why that's an idiom or like a saying.
I guess
Like
it's
bread
just
and
because
butter?
everybody puts butter on their bread, but I mean, I don't.
I guess so.
But I mean,
I do like a good jelly.
I do
though,
like a
you're
good.
right.
You know what? I'll go with strawberry jelly.
Oh really? I like the classic grape.
God,
I like the classic grape jelly.
I can't get it
I
right.
don't know.
All right, well, Criterion.
But anywho, back onto Criterion, our good old friends, our favorites, and this is something we've talked about now twice. We talked about it here when we did the Criterion announcements, and we talked about it on Criterion Now when we were a guest on Aaron's podcast, and we're talking about it once again. And this is the Melvin Van Peebles box set. And this is coming out in September. This was, I guess, the last piece of that September release puzzle
Well,
thought was coming.
No, that was August.
Really?
I don't think we haven't gotten the rest of September yet.
But what is interesting is it says coming soon, available September 28th, 2021.
Yeah. So
This be?
this is the only September release that's been announced. yet.
Okay. So that August slate is just those movies.
It's just them
what,
four that we
movies?
got. Yeah.
Oh. So I guess this is not quite the missing piece, but a piece to another puzzle we haven't seen yet.
Yes.
So this is Melvin Van Peebles' 4 films. This is a 4-film box set, but I think it has 5 discs. So I'm assuming that 5th disc is special features.
Probably, yeah.
That would be my guess here. And these are the first 4 feature films of Melvin Van Peebles' career. And the films are The Story of a 3-Day Pass, The Watermelon Man, or just Watermelon Man, Sweet Sweetback's Badass Song, and then Don't Play Us Cheap. And these movies range from 1967 to 1972. And then after that, Melvin Van Peebles didn't have a movie till the 80s. So
Wow.
yeah, there's a gap if you go to his IMDb. And Melvin Van Peebles is a very interesting and important character, I would say, in film history, specifically in that 70s, like late 60s, early 70s, like independent film, underground type stuff, because not only was he important when it came to being on the ground floor of black exploitation and just black cinema in general of that era, but I think of just American independent cinema in general, because these movies are independent. These are real independent. And what is cool about them is specifically, actually, the ones I've seen 3 out of 4 of these films, and they're all have political, thematic, cultural elements within them dealing with African American treatment in society that still pertain to today. Like, they're still super relevant. This is 50 years later. It's kind of amazing. But yeah, I can't wait for this set, because these movies need restorations and stuff.
What do you think? What do you think of the artwork?
It's a little plain.
It's a little plain for me too. Yeah.
It's a little plain, and they're not even using. Especially that one for Don't Play Us Cheap. Like, that's not great. The one for The Story of the 3-Day Pass, I think, is basically the artwork I keep seeing. Watermelon Man.
It reminds me of the Cassavetes set.
You know what it is? If you watch these movies, it's very Cassavetes-esque.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah. When I mean these movies are low budget, they're very much in that Cassavetes vein of low budget, and the filmmaking in it, at least from what I've seen, is very guerrilla style.
Yeah, I was gonna say documentary style, kind of like just
Yeah, it's like, and they're all different. They're all incredibly different from the ones I've seen. Story of a 3-Day Pass feels like a French New Wave film.
Okay.
In every sense of the word. Watermelon Man I think it was a studio picture, and it's like a satire comedy film that then turns into like a kind of a sad like cultural tale about racism and stuff like that. And then Sweetback's Badass Song is like the ground floor of black exploitation, where you get all of the elements that'll be in movies like Shaft and Superfly and Dolomite are all in there.
Okay.
That movie was made for $150,000, and it looks like it was made for $150,000. It's so low budget, and the movie's mostly just montages of things happening. And it's so dark and gritty, and
it inspired Rocky IV. I got you.
I guess. I mean, goddamn.
Speaking of Rocky IV, director's cut's coming out this year.
I know. When's that getting our nice
I want to
Blu-ray
see
or
that
UHD
4K,
release?
yeah.
Come on now. Come on, Stallone. If you're listening, give it to us. But Sweetback's Badass Song, the editing in it is unlike anything I've ever seen. It's so wild and so crazy. But yeah, what's in Melvin Van Peebles, when it came to filmmaking, he was just going for broke when it came to doing whatever the hell he wanted, and it just showed in every scene and everything he did. And I tried to watch Don't Play Us Cheap, couldn't find it anywhere.
I looked for some of these and I could find the other three, but the last one could not find.
Yeah, for those of you looking to see these movies before you plunk down your money on the set, The Story of a 3-Day Pass is streaming on Canopy, which you can sign up for free if you have a library card. I don't know if many people have library cards anymore. The same thing with Sweetback's Badass Song. But the thing with that is I noticed that it was in the wrong aspect ratio on there. So if you're an aspect ratio nut like I am, that's going to bother you. It went from, it's like 185 to 1, and they were showing it in like 4:3, like full frame.
Squeezing,
like, this
squeezing
ain't right.
the image.
This ain't right.
Yeah.
They were cutting off like half the movie.
Jeez.
And so that's that. And yeah, and then Watermelon Man is streaming on Amazon Prime as of right now. It was streaming on the Criterion channel last month, but I think it left there. And so let's get to the special features, because I can just go on about these movies forever because I just watched them. But good news, Stephen, we are getting new digital 4K restorations of all 4 films approved by filmmaker Mario Van Peebles, who is the son of Melvin Van Peebles. And as we talked about before, he has his own career of both acting and directing like his father. This has uncompressed monaural soundtracks for The Story of a 3-Day Pass, Watermelon Man, and Sweetback's Badass Song, and a 5.1 surround DTS master soundtrack for Don't Play Us Cheap. Don't Play Us Cheap has a musical element to it, that's why.
Okay.
Like, there's like a whole, like I think it's a musical, it's partly a musical, and there's a whole like album to it as well. And I didn't say this, but for Sweetback's Badass Song, I think Earth, Wind, and Fire did like the soundtrack for that movie.
Okay, that makes sense.
Which is kind of cool. And then we have a subtitle called Badass in exclamation points. A 2003 fictional feature film based on director Melvin Van Peebles' diaries from the making of Sweetback's Badass Song, directed and starring his son Mario Van Peebles with commentary by father and son. Now that's been released, I think, individually by itself.
Okay.
Because I remember this movie coming out, or I've heard about this movie. Coincidentally, a young Mario Van Peebles is in Sweetback's Badass Song, playing a young version of his father in that movie, and now he's playing another young version of his father in the movie version of the making of that movie. It's nuts. Basically, if you like that movie, what was that? Dolomite Is My Name.
Yeah.
From I guess
Eddie Murphy's
a few
movie,
years ago now, with Eddie Murphy talking about the making of Dolomite. It's kind of like that, but for Sweetback's Badass Song. And then next we have an audio commentary by Melvin Van Peebles from 1997 on Sweetback's Badass Song. 3 early short films directed by Melvin Van Peebles, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Melvin Van Peebles actually started out doing short films, and he tried to like get them turned into features from studios, and no studio would give him a job. So he and his family moved to Europe, and that's when he made Story of a 3-Day Pass, and Hollywood like caught wind of it because it was doing so well at festivals, like winning awards and stuff, and they thought he was like a French auteur director. It turns out no, he was an American director who moved to Europe to make movies because nobody would give him a job here. So where am I now? Yes, How to Eat Your Watermelon in White Company and Enjoy It, a 2005 documentary on Van Peebles' life and career. The Story Behind Badass, The Birth of Black Cinema, a 2004 featurette. Melvin Van Peebles, The Real Deal, a 2002 interview with director on the making of Sweet Sweetback's Badass Song. Episodes of Black Journal from 1968, 1971, and 1972 on the story of a 3-day past, Sweet Sweetback's Badass Song, and Don't Play Us Cheap. Interview from 1971 with Van Peebles on Detroit Tube Works. French television interview from 1968 with Van Peebles and actors Harry Beard and Nicole Berger on the set of the story of a 3-day pass. Excerpts from a 2004 interview with Van Peebles for the Directors Guild of America Visual History Program. Introduction to all 4 films by Van Peebles. That's cool. Trailers. New English subtitle translation for the story of a 3-day pass. English subtitles for the deaf and hard of hearing. Plus a 64-page book featuring writing on the films, including an introduction by film scholar Raquel J. Gates.
Wow.
And then a new cover illustration by Emery Douglas with design by Slang Incorporated. Yeah, this is going to be, if you want to know about Melvin Van Peebles and his work and his life and the significance of these movies, this box set may be for you.
Yeah, I was going to say, this, as they say, this is filmmaking in a box.
Yeah, this is film school. You don't have to go to film school. Go to Criterion. They'll teach you. They'll teach you stuff. I think I learned more about watching Criterion movies than I ever learned in any film class ever.
Yeah.
But as you can see, a significant release from Criterion, just in time for that November Criterion sale at Barnes & Noble. If you can hold out that long, or if you want to pick it up when it comes out, I definitely highly recommend it.
I'm excited. You've made me excited for it, definitely.
Yeah, I'm kind of super excited, and I've seen most of these movies, but I think you'll really dig the story of a 3-day pass. It feels very much like Before Sunrise.
Okay.
Very much. It's in that same exact vein. It's like Brief Encounter meets Before Sunrise. Really, really good film.
Awesome.
So yeah, that's a hefty set.
Definitely.
So now we're moving on to Indicator Powerhouse Films.
Yes. So usually we get them in the middle of the month, but they I guess decided because they were only going to release one release this month that they would go ahead and just drop it. And so we got a clue a month ago, a little less than a month ago, that clued us into a release for the movie The Brothers Rico. And now, I guess the rumors that what we thought would happen is true, is that movie is a part of the next Columbia Film Noir set, which is the 4th one that they're releasing. And this set also includes a Walk a Crooked Mile, Walk East on Beacon, so there's a lot of walking in this set. You also have Pushover. You have A Bullet is Waiting, which I like that title. Chicago Syndicate, and The Brothers Rico. You seen any of these movies?
Have I seen any of these movies? I think I've seen Walk a Crooked Mile.
Okay.
Oh no, I haven't seen. I've seen Pushover.
I've seen that.
I've seen Pushover.
Yeah.
And I like how all of these movies are from 1950s except for Walk a Crooked Mile. And yeah, this is in the same vein as their 3 previous Columbia Noir sets in the terms of construction and probably layout, and when it comes to construction of their box set and design, which are amazing designs. I can't highly recommend these enough.
Yeah, I mean, and I like the artwork. I like the blue, the color they chose.
Yeah, I like how each box set's a different color as well.
Yeah, I think they pull out a color out of that indicator strip, and they're like, let's go with that color.
I didn't notice that until now. You're more observant than I am. More observant than I am.
But it's, yeah, I mean, I've seen, I think we've both seen Pushover.
Yes.
And that's actually a pretty solid movie. I really enjoyed it. Fred MacMurray in that film's really good. He plays a cop that falls in love with like a bank robber, a very good looking bank robber, and they both kind of scheme to get away from the police. It has a great ending too. I love the ending. What'd you think of it?
Yeah, I dig it too. I mean, it's Fred MacMurray going back to his, I would say, film noir roots.
Yeah.
With a la Double Indemnity, getting involved with the wrong type of person has its consequences, I guess. Poor Fred MacMurray.
And then I saw Walk a Crooked Mile, which I'd say it's a little bit more of a espionage movie than I'd say necessarily a film noir,
Okay.
but it's okay. It's an okay movie. It's got a cool kind of like team up factor to it where an agent from one of the FBI agents from America teams up with like a Scotland Yard's detective coming over, and they both are looking for a particular person, and it's got that Cold War thing going for it, and it's okay. But I haven't seen any of these other ones.
I don't think I have either, as I'm looking them up frantically as you're talking, because I don't think I've seen. Yeah.
And I guess Brothers Rico is probably a pretty solid one since that was what The Clue was. And people knew that movie. People had figured out what that movie was by The Clue. So that's probably a pretty solid one too. But I'm excited once again. I mean, I haven't made my way through every set yet because, they put them out like every month. It seems like I think they've put out like almost all of the film noir sets all of this year, right? Didn't they?
I want to say the first one came out last year.
Okay.
And then the rest have come out this year. Because I know they just put out number 3,
2 months ago?
It was either May or April?
Yeah.
I mean, these are coming out fast and furious now.
I'm not complaining, though.
Yeah, number 1 came out in November of last year. Number 2 came out in February of this year. And number 3 came out in May of this year.
Yeah.
And then this one's coming out in September of this year.
Yeah.
So... yeah, they when they said they were putting on multiple ones, they weren't lying. They were, keep them rolling.
Yeah, keep them
Keep them
rolling.
on it. Do all of the Columbia Noir films if you can.
Yeah, we'll take it.
Whatever you got the rights to.
Yeah,
we'll buy them all at this point.
But it looks like they don't have a complete special features. It says at the end more extras to be announced. But with what we got here so far, we have high definition remaster of all 6 films. We have original mono soundtracks. We have audio commentary on Walk East on Beacon with In a Lonely Street author Frank Krunick from 2021. We have audio commentary on Pushover with film historian Alexander Heller and Nicholas and Heller. That's his whole name. Alexander Heller Nicholas and Josh Nelson from 2021. We have auto commentary on Chicago Syndicate from film historian Toby Rohn from 2021. We have auto commentary on The Brothers Rico with professor and film scholar Jason A. Ney from 2021. We have Introduction to Brothers Rico by Martin Scorsese from 2010, so that's pretty cool. We got Glenn Kenny on Richard Quinn from 2021. The author and critic examines the eclectic career of director of Pushover. We have Josephine Bodding on Gene Simmons 2021. The film historian discusses the early American career of British actor. We have G-Men Combat Saboteurs from 1941 and G-Men of War from 1942. 2 March of Time documentaries produced by Louis D. Rockmont, who I guess is involved in Walk East on Beacon. And it focuses on FBI's effort to apprehend spies and fifth columnists. That's interesting. A little bit of context there, I guess, for when the movie came out. Then we got Routine Job, a story of Scotland Yard's 1946. It's a short film examining the day-to-day workings of Scotland Yard detective, much like the one in Walk a Crooked Mile. another cool kind of context thing there. Got Policeman's Holiday, a 1949 short film in which a American detective comes to England to assist Scotland Yard, echoing and reversing the plot of Walk a Crooked Mile, which is, once again, these are some interesting choices for features. Then you also have 6 comedy shorts starring the Three Stooges, which they did this, I think, on the last film noir release. They had some Three Stooges shorts, but each lampooning the tropes and themes of film noir, of films in the set, from Nurse to Worse from 1940, The Yolks on Me from 1944, Dunked in the Deep from 1949, Blunder Boys from 1955, Comanche in the Ocean from 1956, and Merry Mix-Up from 1957. We have original theatrical trailers, we have image galleries, promotional and publicity materials, new and improved English subtitles for the deaf and hard of hearing, limited edition 120-page book, which is huge, with new essays from Beth Ann Gallagher, Bob Herzenberg, Sophie Monks Kaufman, Omar Ahmed, Jen Jonahan, and Monica Castillo, and we have these are all world premieres on Blu-ray, and they are limited to 6,000. So that's a lot of special features. That's a lot of special features by themselves, and there's still more to be announced. So, I mean, what do you think about that? That sounds fantastic.
Yeah, that's a hefty amount of special features. That 120-page book that's kind of a lot. That's nuts. Special shout out to Jen Johans, who I followed on Twitter for years.
Okay.
At Film Intuition, she has her own podcast, Watch with Jen, which is really good, a film podcast. And yeah, I remember her tweeting out about this the other day when this got announced, that she's going to be on it. It's kind of really cool that they're getting people from like the podcasting world to write things, or people who typically write pieces about film to contribute to stuff like this, because usually we always see, not the same type of people. We see like scholars and film historians, people with PhDs and masters and all that stuff, but it's like the film fans, man, they're serious about this stuff. Like us, we're really, this is our lives.
Well,
this
I mean,
lives.
We're all learning about this stuff the same way. It's just, they paid for an education to do it, and these people just watched movies from home.
Yeah, I know. I mean, like, and these people have just as much to contribute when it comes to the narrative of film scholarship than anyone else.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, this is a massive set. And yeah, I can't wait to add number 3 and then add number 4. I gotta add number 4 I gotta add number 3 before I add number 4. Yeah. Because buying these back to back is pretty damn expensive.
It is. So but you did tell me you splurged on your birthday.
Yes,
right?
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, my birthday is coming up on June 17th. So now is the time of the year where I play catch up with all the stuff I've been wanting to get for like the last year, basically, since the last birthday ended.
Yeah.
So I went and got Columbia Noir number 1 and 2 because I have a feeling those will be the first 2 that sell out if they do start selling out. But I did get it this week, so as of June 13th, the numbers were still in under 2,000 when it came to the limited edition. Yeah. I don't know if they just pick off a random rack or if they're in order at all. But,
I mean, you would suspect that some of them get shipped out to other distributors, and
like I don't know if I got Columbia Noir, in its limited edition, 1,838 out of 6,000. Is there someone out there with like number 5,550, even though like they've only sold a certain amount? Who really knows?
Yeah.
Who really knows? All I know is that they're still available. Buy them while you can, before they sell out, and then go for hundreds of dollars on eBay.
Yeah.
Because that's a pain in the butt to do. Because I keep looking for some, and those prices never move.
Yeah, you don't ever want to get into that situation where you're having to look through eBay.
I'm still looking for that Hammer Volume 1 set. I was in an auction the other day, Steven, for a used one that was in pristine condition, ended up selling for $135.
That's not the worst I've heard. Yeah.
Which is the cheapest I've ever seen.
Yeah.
On average, brand new, 250, like in the 200 to 250 range. I keep seeing them. That's what happens. So get these limited editions while you can.
Definitely. And we always say good things about Indicator, so
great product.
Great product.
Great product.
All right. Well, that's it for our release slate this week. But before we head out, I had a couple films I was going to talk about real quick to somewhat review, not necessarily like in-depth reviews because I haven't had a chance to go into the features yet. But maybe down the line, I've been talking with Andrew about maybe doing some work on the YouTube channel. We have a YouTube channel, but haven't done much with it yet. So maybe I can contribute, Andrew's got his own YouTube channel as it is, so he already does some videos on his channel, so you definitely go over there and check out what he's got going on. But I'm thinking about contributing to the Chasing Labels channel and doing I did an unboxing for the Christopher Lee set, which I'll be reviewing when we have our guest on from Severin in a couple episodes. So I'm working on watching that. But I might throw some more Blu-ray reviews up there and do some stuff. You guys let us know what kind of videos maybe you would want us to do on that channel. But I have a couple releases that just came out that I figured I'd talk about real quick. I watched both of them. But like I said, I haven't went into special features, so I can't do a full review. But the first one I'll talk about here is a film called Lake Mungo. This came out from Second Sight. And if I'm remembering the director's name, I think it's Joel Anderson is her name. Joel Anderson, I think, is the director's name. But this is like a kind of faux documentary movie. Where they're kind of doing a reenactment of, unsolved mysteries type of thing, where you're getting documentary footage and then you're getting like kind of interview footage, and it's made up, but it feels just like it's real. And it's based around this family who loses their daughter in an accident. And it's about kind of the aftermath of that, where they're kind of having like supernatural experiences, thinking that she's trying to like reach them for some reason. And I don't want to give away anything because there's some twists and turns, but it's definitely not what I was expecting. I thought it would be a little bit more, there would be a little bit more of a found footage element to it, but it is definitely more of like a documentary, straightforward but it's got some creepy images. I know some people have really said that this was like really scared them. I don't know that I would go that far. This is an Australian film, so it is, in English. So there was no like kind of language barrier problem for me. It's got some creepy images, but I wouldn't necessarily say this scared me. But it is a movie, not only about the scares, but it's a movie about dealing with grief. This family goes throughout the journey of figuring out what's going on. Through the twists and turns, you figure out that maybe some of the things that they're seeing or hearing isn't really happening, or is happening, or isn't happening for the reasons they think. And it's how people deal with grief differently, and each person in the family kind of goes through something different. So I think that's what maybe I think is more to grab onto with this movie, is how it looks at that subject matter more than just thinking that it's going to be scary. But have you heard about this movie, Andrew? Lake Mungo?
I'm not at all. Not at all, since they announced it, and we talked about it briefly just because it was part of our announcement slate, and I was just like, the cover of the set looked amazing.
Yeah, it's great artwork, yeah.
Yeah, it has great artwork, and I believe it's, like you said, Second Sight, so is it Region B locked?
Actually, this one's Region Free.
Okay.
I think it is. Maybe not region free, but it's definitely Region A because I watched it on my player upstairs. So.
Oh, okay then. That answered that question.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it does say here that it's region free.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. How are what's these special features looking like in terms of just amount, not necessarily
Well,
details
I'll
on.
be honest with you. I can't find it. I think it's
Oh,
behind me. I don't want to leave my. I left the release over on another table, and if I'd had to get up to get it.
okay,
Unless
don't
you're
do
okay,
that then.
I can get. You know what? Wait a second. Keep talking.
Okay. So yeah, Lake Mungo. If you see the cover art for this, it looks extremely cryptic and appealing, and just kind of eerie, extremely eerie.
You're talking about the
It
artwork.
Yeah, talk about the artwork where it's just like it's this, I'm assuming, woman standing in moonlight, and there's just a reflection, shadowy reflection in a lake,
Yeah.
which and it's just really cool. Reminds me a lot of a David Lynch type picture. But the movie, the way you describe it, sounds a lot more like Blair Witch.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, it's definitely more in that style, but with more of a like you're watching, like I said, unsolved mysteries where you're getting interviews, and it's like there's not necessarily. I mean, there's a mystery, but it's not the same type of way. It's not like somebody murdered somebody or anything like that. But so there's a lot of Second Sight does a great job of getting a lot of new stuff. It's got a decent amount of special features. It's got auto commentary with David Rapsner. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but it's got some commentaries, some interviews with the director, the DP, and I can't wait to watch it to get a little bit more context for what the filmmaker was going for. So, but it's got a nice rigid slip case like most. I mean, basically all Second Sight stuff are all rigid slip cases. So yeah, I mean it's a solid movie. I thought it's kind of almost somewhat of a one of a kind for me. Like I mean there are definitely other movies that have that found footage element, but this is kind of a little bit different than that I thought was why it stands out. And like I said, how it deals with looking into grief, I thought was kind of the highlight of the movie. So but yeah, that's Lake Mungo.
Cool,
And,
cool.
The other movie I want to talk about is one I'm very excited about. And when I first saw the trailer for this release from Vinegar Syndrome, I sent it right over to Andrew. I was like, Andrew, I'm getting this movie, and I had never heard of it. I don't think he had either. But it's a movie from 1998, and it's called Six String Samurai. And this movie is one of the coolest movies I've seen, and it's super indie. And you can tell, there are some of these low budget movies. You can tell they cut corners. They had to do what they had to do to achieve what they were trying to shoot, but it still works. It's a very creative movie. They get a lot out of what they have, and it's shot in a very interesting way. It's actually, with this new restoration, very, very well shot. The colors pop, and it's very fun. A lot of fun characters. Very, if you don't know anything about Six String Samurai, you have basically this post-apocalyptic world that's set in the 1950s. Which, most of the time, for us, I guess nowadays, it's always in the future. You always go into the future, and that's when shit's gone down. Well, this is set in the 1950s, and apparently a nuke went off, and at some point, I guess Elvis became like the king of Las Vegas, or what they call Lost Vegas now. And so apparently at this time, Elvis has died finally, and so now people are trying to take his throne. And so our main character comes in, and he's on his way to Las Vegas. He has a long journey, and it's kind of in this sense, this is where the samurai element comes in, kind of like a lone wolf and cub, where he saves this kid, and then the kid, doesn't have anybody, so he kind of tags along. In that sense, it kind of feels like lone wolf and cub, where, the main character's got to take care of his own son as he's going through these adventures of people trying to kill him. And that's what happens in this movie. Everybody's trying to kill him because he's this like kind of man with no name type of figure, like Clint Eastwood, and he's known to be a badass. And so everybody wants to take him down and take his guitar, which is this, like hollow body type of awesome guitar. And he's always talking about how the other guys with their guitars are shitty, and it's really funny, really fun. I don't want to give away too much more, but it's well worth the pickup. And the packaging is fantastic. The artwork is maybe some of the best artwork I've seen on a package ever. And it's got like kind of like a magnetic close on it, so it stays secure. And it's got like a slip cover on the 4K in the inside, and it has a nice booklet in there, and it's an amazing release. So have you seen Six String Samurai yet?
I have not seen it. My order of Six String Samurai is still out there in the ether, as several of my orders tend to end up being. Steven and I both ordered from the same sale. It was the halfway to Black Friday sale from Vinegar Syndrome.
No, I didn't. I didn't sell in this. I didn't buy in the sale.
No, he did not buy in the sale, but he pre-ordered. He pre-ordered because that's what Steven does because he's smart, and then it didn't get released. Hit the market, if you will, until that sale started, which was like the last weekend in May. Yeah. I think it was. And I ordered mine, of course, on the Sunday, which was the day before the end of the sale, which is what I do. Wait till the last moment, pretty much. Although the last day was technically that Monday, so I actually screwed up and thought that Sunday was the last day, but then Monday...
So you would have waited till Monday.
But I would have waited till Monday. But anywho, so I wait till last, and then, of course, first come, first serve when it comes to sales like that. But I've heard great things about about these Vinegar Syndrome releases. They're part of their VSU release slate, which is I think stands for Vinegar Syndrome Ultra.
Okay.
Obviously, because they're Ultra HD releases, and I think this may only be like their second one.
Okay.
I want to say the Beastmaster was their first release, and I hate that I didn't buy that. I don't even care how bad that movie may or may not be. I know it's just it's an 80s like cult movie, if you will, but the packaging. And I'm gonna pop when I say packaging because the packaging is so amazing. Yeah. It's a thick like box with a clasp that goes over, and the magnet, like Steven said, holds it closed. But it's a really beautiful package, and they are limited, I believe.
I want to say it's 2000 maybe.
Yeah, the Beastmaster one was limited to 10,000.
Oh, 10,000. Okay.
So and it's sold out now, and it came out last November, so not even a year.
Yeah.
And I think this just sold out like during the sale.
Yeah.
Like they only had a couple of copies left.
That makes sense.
Well, should have got one. And they it's a great set. I actually don't even know because right now the site's not down, but you can't look at any of their releases on their site because
I think their partner labels are the only things up right now. Yeah.
Yeah, so I can't even check to see what their other VSU titles are. So I don't even know if the information I just told you is accurate or not. But all I know is that that Six String Samurai is part of their VSU line, and I can't wait to get mine.
Yeah, I think you're going to enjoy it. There's also apparently like a full-length documentary on there that's about the making of it that was put together by the director too. So that I can't wait to go through that.
For those of you out there who have no idea what we're talking about, go on to YouTube and watch the Six String Samurai trailer. But it's also about the putting together of this product, or at least the people working at Vinegar Syndrome, how passionate they are about the products they put out, and just specifically this one and whatnot. It really shows you that these people are real super film fans, just like us. It's kind of that's what's kind of the great thing about talking about these boutique labels is a lot of them, pretty much, I'm assuming all of them are run by genuine film fans. It's not like some corporate entity out there with some people in suits. It's not a Disney.
Yeah, I mean nowadays if you're getting into physical media, you have to want to do it. Like it would be weird to me if some random business guy was like, that's what everybody's buying these days is physical media. That's what we got to. That's the business we got to get into. We'll make tons of money.
Yeah, I know. There's no corporate overlord looking at their stock market shares and worried about, bonuses and looking at charts and stuff. I have no idea how any of this works.
No.
All I know is it feels like we're getting genuine products from genuine people who love movies.
Yes.
Which is, really nice.
Yes. And so yeah, Six String Samurai, if you can get that collection, that movie, this release, get it. I wouldn't don't think about it. Don't overthink it. I'm surprised Andrew didn't overthink this one. I guess the trailer really got him. But yes, get it. So that's it for our episode. That's it for number 8, spy number 8 from Chasing Labels. Where can we find you, Andrew?
You can find me on Twitter at Cabzilla06, as well as my YouTube channel, Cabzilla Productions.
And you can find me on Facebook, Stephen Billings. You can find me on Instagram at Chasing Label 16. I post all my goodies on there. You can also find me on Letterboxd at Chasing Labels, where I usually keep up. You can see what I'm watching on there. You can chat with me. I might chat back. Or you can also find. These are also kind of like the places you are for the podcast. So. We also have a group on Facebook that you can join and chat with other film people. We're in the low numbers right now, so help us build that up. Help us build that community up for Chasing Labels. So go to Facebook and Chasing Labels group, and we'll let you in. And also, you can find the audio for this podcast on Podbean, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, probably some other places. But that's it for this episode. Thanks once again for listening. And hey, keep on buying them movies.
I know I will.